Hi, this is Bighara with another episode of my video blog. Yes, I'm missing the beard, and yes, I'm wearing my glasses, which I don't normally do when I record these because of the reflection off the screen, but my eyes are a little tired because it was early in the morning. So you're going to have to put up with my radically altered appearance. So, today is Saturday, the 21st of May, and I haven't seen any of my neighbors float up into the sky, so I'm assuming I'm not in a very virtuous neighborhood. I'm talking, of course, about the idea that there's supposed to be the rapture today and, the beginning of the end and all that. Anyhow, which sort of leads me to the segue of the topic I was going to talk about. Originally I was going to talk about clerics, but with this whole thing in the news and stuff, it kind of got me thinking about back in the day when I was a kid playing D&D, and the fact that a lot of people considered the game dangerous, even satanic. And I know I've talked to a few people at cons and in gaming stores and places like that, and a few people online, where the subject has come up about that phase in hobbies history. And some of the younger people, now I sound like a really grumpy old guy, don't totally understand that, because they kind of missed that period of time in the hobby, and most of the older people are aware of it, though a lot of the old guard fellows from that I met at Gary Con and things like that, of course, were a little bit beyond the point where it really mattered for them, because they were older and they were adults and they were on their own. But as a kid who was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade during the peak of that, and playing D&D, I got to see a little of that. My own personal anecdote from that time was having a bus driver who was a very serious fundamental Christian, and she took great offense at the fact that myself and some of my friends riding the bus to junior high to and from would be looking at these books, and she actually ordered a couple of my friends off the bus for discussing it and looking at these books. I wasn't on the bus that day, and this got escalated to her supervisor, and she eventually got fired. So on the flip side of that, we had an English teacher in my junior high who was a fan of fantasy fiction and actually taught some Tolkien and things like that. And there was a club day at our junior high where every once a week you had people got to meet in their clubs. It was the last period of the day, and she actually sponsored and ran a Dungeons and Dragons club, so kids got together and play, which was really great of her, I thought, at the time, especially given the fact that people caught a certain amount of flack from it. Eventually it sort of became a little bit more of a joke, and you had things like the dead there, where are the Cheetos and all that stuff much later. And I think that brings me to the next point. Nowadays I don't think you see the same level of I don't want to say persecution, but discrimination on the subject, as well as I don't think you get a lot of the kids who I knew who frankly were a little messed up. And I don't think it was the game that did it, but it was an extra layer of a social barrier for them. And one of the reasons you don't see that so much now, I think, is the internet, because you have things like these inane video blogs that I do, and the message groups and internet videos and social networking and so forth and so on. And it's so much easier for people of any age to get in touch with each other and see that there are other folks who enjoy the same things they enjoy and play the same games, even if that person may be halfway around the world. And with things like Skype, that doesn't mean you couldn't play a game with them. So I think that's really great, and I often harbor the theory that a good deal of the internet's progress is based on the fact that the nerds that were basically creating and expanding it wanted to increase the resources for the games and stuff that they like to do, whether it was video games or role-playing games or what have you. And actually that would be a very interesting bit of research. Anyway, all that said, no rapture so far. It's about 6:30 on the East Coast. Of course, how would I know? Because I play D&D. Anyhow, that's about it. Just some random thoughts for a Saturday morning. Hope everyone's having a good day. That's all for now.